teachers, especially those over 60 years, are being urged to get vaccinated. The appeal came at a virtual town hall meeting on Friday. Prime Minister Andrew Holness and Education, Youth and Information Minister Fayval Williams discussed vaccination and sanitization in the school system. The goal is to reopen schools come September. Prime Minister Andrew Holness thanked those teachers who are part of the reported 40% of educators who have gotten inoculated against COVID-19.
The level of take-up is not sufficient in my mind to put us on a firm pathway for the return of face-to-face education. I know that there is hesitancy, and indeed, in terms of the organization of the teaching profession and the leadership of the teaching profession, there might be some differences in approach to the vaccines. I want to take the opportunity to appeal to the leaders of the teaching profession and to the teachers themselves that we will not be able to return to face-to-face education with confidence if we do not have a sufficiently high level of teachers vaccinated.
The government has a 65% target for herd immunity in the country. Mr. Holness says he would like to see at least 80% of the teaching fraternity within that group.
Particularly, we would like to see those teachers who are in the vulnerable age range vaccinated. As you would see from the statistics provided for the general population, that the risk rises very rapidly for a fatal event if infected after you have passed 60. So teachers who are closer to 60 or past 60 who are still operating in the system, maybe our principals, some of our senior teachers, we urge you to get vaccinated.
The Prime Minister says the decision to return to face-to-face classes would be driven by public health science as well as social and economic factors.
The Cabinet of Jamaica, which I lead, takes into consideration all the recommendations that come from the Ministry of Education, from the Ministry of Health, from the Ministry of Finance, and we balance them. Because at the end of the day, we don't want you to survive COVID and die of hunger. That's the stark reality. So we want you to survive COVID and still have your job. We want you to survive COVID and still be educated. So the perspective that we have now at this point in time is that we are looking to a return to face-to-face education in September. This is our thinking at this point in time. Things could change. You could have a third wave, it could. But if things work out for the better, if you get vaccinated, for example.
He says more vaccines will land in August, and his administration is preparing for that. Meanwhile, Education Minister Fayval Williams says her team is working on getting schools connected to the internet.
Right now, across our schools, it's left up to each individual school to pay their own internet bill and so forth. The new model that we're looking at would have the ministry take a more active role in terms of ensuring that our schools have connectivity. So we're working on that. We have a goal to have the rollout of that before September to as many schools as possible across the system so that when our students show up, there will be adequate connectivity for them to be able to use in their class or as they move around the school compound. So that's what we've been working on. We know that it's important. Technology is going to remain a part of the educational system. It's going to be a blended approach going forward.